fancy one with a huge Moor attack, perhaps? You know we're worth it for quality work and...
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers. Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open.
Don't worry about that.
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original cast member ran into some issue, but the troupe has also been experiencing some financial
That does sound like a tricky situation.
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to... There are only a few days left until the performance.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any idea? Even if we took the commission, neither of us...
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the requester? Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? Hi, Hello there. Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two! Are you really willing to act in my...
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous and... But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in...
I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of amateur enthusiasts. All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience, never mind ticket fees. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. Cancel the show, but now it looks inevitable.
Disband?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? One last show. And after that, we go our separate ways. So we were really hoping to end on a... Nobody wants things to just... fizzle. Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake...
Got it. We have a clearer picture. What if we sponsored the show?
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. If the actress... We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... That's how you know we're the best of partners. She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd.
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous. Her? You're...
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty confident.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. They were one of the reasons she was so popular. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. Fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to. I'm sure everyone in our troupe, of course. It all depends.
No point in stressing about that. And besides, things are different now. There's no reason.
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll...
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she...
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you. I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. It is my duty to support commissioners in any way.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, now that we've got the address, welcome.
Kisah Putri Oceanid. Sabar. Oke. Mana kamu rumahnya? Oh, di sini.
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here? Not that there's anything wrong with this place, it's just, a bit of...
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Okay, when did popping out of thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags. I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food, but now not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! questioning my cooking skills. It's not like I have a... Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre focilor or blubber profiterole.
Ah, there it is. You don't...
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come... Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to...
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the traveler said! Paimon wasn't trying to make fun of you. Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either.
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision, you know.
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the...
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then... So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so... specific? Ah, I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine. Well, but given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must regretfully decline your casting request.
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage. Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over. But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross. If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place. So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare. Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point, okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of me, since I'm just an ordinary person now. They'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for... True, but... I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Oh, no way. I'm done.
Well, is there...
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would. Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought...
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried. Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now.
Toodaloo to you, too.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing... Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you...
And that gives you the right to make it...
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else?
Sorry. I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding.
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it.
I see. Well, sir, you see, our...
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Furina really so harsh with people?
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed, despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission?
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made... This is the last chance we have, though. If so, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it?
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the... I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as...
You're right. I'm sorry.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list. All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me. Hello, one and all. I couldn't help.
Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing here?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. Yeah, when you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I just feel a bit bad about how it went down. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take...
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you? I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, to make matters worse, you called... But in any case...
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help...
There's no need to think like that. And no need to keep addressing me as lady. Just Furina is fine. I was wondering... If this troupe is so important to all of you, if the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control. Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul...
Her name was O'Reilly. And she was the founder, as well as the artistic director of our troupe.
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength.
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, none of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter...
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings. I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show,
Yes, exactly.
Well, good thing I followed the Traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale... I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the bound. I can, but only if you feel this is something...
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance...
We unfortunately don't have any budget for...
I don't need any compensation. All I'd add is something I've begun to realize since my departure from the opera epic. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh... What about all the unresolved emotions of the party? An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think take, par exemple, how this trip...
Still a fan of your old... You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
No. This is a completely different situation.
The name's not so...
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina's performances. All right, follow me.
Take it easy.
Lady Furina?
What's Lady Furina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, these two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly—
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice.
Oh, please don't mention it. Wait.
So, you were saying the little Oceanid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a success—
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you a quick summary of what the story's all about. The protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form. She longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, she found friendship and even love. Everything seemed perfect, but one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around her.
So far, so good. A classic tale. What happened after that?
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But
We still haven't decided between a
Bad
happy ending
ending.
or a
Bad ending.
true-life tragedy.
By
Gue bisa milih
true
nggak?
to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
yeah,
Gue nggak mau jadi
Like they
autornya
say, truth
apa
is
yang
stranger
apa
than
lah intinya
fiction.
yang dari
but then
rimur-rimur
there's
itu
the question of
yang
whether
film itu
Exactly.
anjing
A lot of the time,
plot twist
people
dari
come
plot
to
twist
watch a
anjing
show just
hidup
hoping for
hidup
some light
anjing mati
entertainment.
mati hidup
We have to consider and
fuck?
one last thing. The first is Paulo, the other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. He did write to us.
although, now that we have Miss Furina helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to—
What opportunity?
Maybe you're unaware, but you're—
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us.
Oh, stop! You're making me all flustered. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead. But one by one,
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was.
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Whistle. Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith in the show. So, allons-y. To Poisson!
Poisson. Six thousand, stable like a town. Oh. Itu siapa? Siapa lagi? Gengnya Navi ya?
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here?
Alright.
Nice try.
Okay then.
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all.
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Furina, too.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Palo? Looks like you could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the...
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take the. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier, which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all, like my father before me. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have.
More closest than you think. Weh bang.
I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, it's always easiest to just run
Kenapa tuh
away
adik
from your
marah-marah?
problems. But
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still,
Oh iya, iya.
I felt
Masih
it was
benci ya
something I
rakyatnya
had
ya?
to do. As I was saying before, I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me. Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion. I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after all.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
What do you mean by that? You expected me to just keep running and hiding from my responsibility?
Look, there seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a...
Take it easy.
probably just wanted a relaxing stroll. And here I am dumping all this heavy...
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came. And the
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst. Everyone rose to their responsibilities. And I finally regained my freedom. But on some level...
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to dream about how I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was. Believe in the Furina you see on stage. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity. That's what I
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same. I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even though I have no idea where I'm going right now, at least the choice is in my hands. All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by now.
Sure, okay.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not...
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? Anyway, my character doesn't need...
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the time.
Oh no, looks like there are... We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina... Paulo's nearly done.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Ocean...
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he... outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
Sorry.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines, too. Like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little Oceanid. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and legacy. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to perform. It was only after she was gone that—
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, And I spent some years taking whatever work I could find. It was like that until the director found me one day. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." It was just to taunt me though. One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. So I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point. Thought the whole world was out to get me.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the director.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day the group parted ways.
The day you hoped would never come. How times change.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new artistic consultant, Miss Furina.
Furina? The Furina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful director. I just wanted to do something to help.
Same here.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my... I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she wants to become a human. She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid, plants and flowers are withering, and the people, the little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a consciousness of its own.
Consciousness? You mean...
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away.
Anjir,
And faces the
mirip-mirip
greatest dilemma of her life.
mirip-mirip Eropa apa abad berapa gitu, 17, 18 gitu. Yang gimana nyari-nyari vampir anjing
And then...
sama gypsy.
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover and the rest of humanity.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love, one that extended to all of humanity.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible. What about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her, her lover makes sure her secret never gets out, and
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And perhaps a little irresponsible too.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director O'Reilly's death, both arbitrary and meaningless. On the day when she went missing, Director O'Reilly had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of... We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never... We looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point to her being the latest victim in the serial disappearances case.
The director was the kindest soul in the world. Yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called experiment by someone who had nothing to do with her at all.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen? It almost seems as if she was moving you to safety.
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far.
Villemont? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that because... Well, speaking of the play being true to life, I was deeply, madly in love with Aurelie.
What? You kept that.
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the ending if we can't be honest about how we feel. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she never considered us as potential romantic partners. Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe, and I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life. And now, that day will never come. So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by Aurelie. I won't let anyone get in the way of that.
In that case, you have to straighten. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's...
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But funny you should ask, though. You really do.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
What the fuck is Albibi?
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you this.
As if this journey wasn't...
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me? You're not seriously expecting me to fight, are you?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever...
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into Indemnitium. Miss Furina said so herself.
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my powers, as much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress more than anything.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie indeed. Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as a more brave and seasoned adventurer than I swoops in to save the day.
Aw, too bad. I was so pumped.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Menyusahkan sekali. Ini slime ice dapat dari mana anjay? Ya elah, ngilang lagi ke atas. Ngilang terus lu ngentot anjing.
Barbados, guide us. See?
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Furina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troupe.
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone? I care just as much as everyone else about making the Little Oceanid a success. If I open this can of worms now...
Vilma, unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Vilma. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything. The Little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsor. It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot. The drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything right away. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us. I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director told... I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything. Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it!
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us? What do you mean? You were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her. How could you be so stupid?
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him!
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered. She was the love of my life. And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show. How about...
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly.
Indeed.
I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. In my life.
Get out of my sight. Go, get lost! I don't ever want to see your face again!
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Now pipe down, both of you! Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director, but in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. To shield you all from the storms that... I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but... isn't she your hero already?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about if you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director O'Reilly and the whole... What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, if she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed.
What you said, it really...
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but I ended up...
It's all right.
Oke,
Let's
Jis.
save all this for after.
So, then...
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. The end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the show.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victim. If you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind, perhaps we can...
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on O'Reilly's true feeling.
No.
Well, we'll leave this...
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head...
Baiknya violet anjing. Naga.
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, that case has been still, since you were the...
Kami.
So, this is all O'Reilly left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches, too! Looks like...
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from... Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary. Let's see. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolving young women. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vachey's guilt.
Vachey took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators. Wait, it cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
Oke. Ada yang ditangkap lagi. Ini sudah orang ke-6 atau sudah 7. Ada yang mencoba kabur kemarin lagi, tapi gagal. Maaf, tapi lebih mengerikan lagi, aku lihat ada orang lain dari rombongan di sini. Aku berhasil melindungi mereka, kan? Maaf, karena aku sudah tidak bisa lagi menulis. Aku demam dan penyakit lambungku balik lagi. Tidak ada yang kasih obat. Setidaknya masih mending daripada crazy. Blah, semua ini akan... Oke. Kalau ada yang lihat, semoga rombongan teater selamat. Aku mereka penting, tolong selamat tinggal, bahwa hidup pertunjukan masa depan. Penyesalan Cleo, halaman ini sangat berantakan. Buku hariannya berakhir di halaman ini, sisanya hanya lirik, drama, musikal, ada dari clipping koran. Ada juga tulisan tangan yang banyak tadinya. Sering dibaca buku ini. Udah milik ketua. Huh?
She was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but at the end of the day, she was only human. I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been. Wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely familiar. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness.
Isn't that the most important line in the Little Oceanid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat, I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust, admiration. Let's go. It's time for them to learn to
Yeah. Oh shit.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death, then it's
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant sacrificing herself. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now,
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be...
Then it seems like we've reached a
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless, if you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself. And aren't human emotions love, hate, regret, and hope just the most I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life.
thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina. And thank you for supporting us through.
Then, let's not delay things any longer.
Actually, before that, I'd like during the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that,
Now we're all right. I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a...
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need...
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage.
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
What are you afraid of?
No, that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I have no... I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on. We'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette. I know just where to find it.
Kayaknya si Furina kalau minta apa-apa kayaknya ke Nervilette semua itu. Kalau Zhongli ke Childe,
Take it easy.
kalau Furina ke Nervilette, anjing kayaknya emang sesama naga ya, anjir. Udah sesama naga juga anjir.
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Furina. And you too, traveler in Paimon. What might I assist you with today?
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event.
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled.
Huh? What do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them.
Dia ngejabat berapa
So
tahun ya?
I wanted to learn a little bit more about their situation.
Lupa gue.
But one thing led to another, and in the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases,
Oh, udah dari
all
dulu.
while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every one. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
Why would you...
Well, if The Little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are... The experiences and decisions of the protagonist, Cleo, are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once more.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act, nor do I think it is any great shame. This experience is a case in point. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious.
Gue tahu nih kemana nih arahnya nih, ceritanya nih, tiba-tiba nih gue tahu nih, gue bisa kenapa nih.
Hope the show will serve as the
Thanks, Nervalak.
You are very...
Tiba-tiba sakit nih, yang cewek itu, gue yakin tiba-tiba sakitnya kambuh banget nih, nggak bisa tampil atau whatever dari aja. Terus itu, ya elah, pencet. Okay, done. Let's go.
Good news, everyone. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Neuvillette was moved to provide us with a fitting... We've had to fight. A touching story. Now, let's work together and make...
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiamma and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things.
Wow, you two...
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us! We've come so far!
It's amazing! Even though Furina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's really fired everyone up!
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the...
Nih, gue kudu... Oh, nggak ding, loading. Adegan nangis.
Accursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
Fraud.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage.
Leave this place, oh little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
Kamu nih, yang cewek itu tadi digantiin sama Furina nih harusnya. Nah, kan?
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen such a... If only...
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take...
Why?
Sudah gue
Why
duga.
does it have to be
Sudah gue
now?
duga.
Hey, what's going on? Oh no, not again. But...
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my dose.
What? I thought they cure it. So they were only managing your symptoms?
I figured whatever it took to get me through this fight.
How could you do this to yourself?
Demam.
And after that lecture you gave me about not looking after...
I'm sorry.
You...
Miss Furina?
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh,
Sudah kedua.
yeah. I think my scenes are all done.
Okay.
Although, I do have one more line.
Please take Delphi back to her place to
Kayaknya gampang banget
rest.
nebak
I'll...
cerita Genshin tuh anjing.
From the sublime to the...
Thank you, Miss Furina.
OVA.
I'm so...
Never mind.
Bangsat.
What's done is
Main
done.
story-nya udah lama banget.
It's really my own fault for getting in too deep. No one likes regrets, myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's part.
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. After all, this show, what, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
It's her pure heart. Despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your...
Gila, udah kayak nyerahin apa aja anjing. Udah kayak nyerahin apa aja. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Let's go, bruh. Anjay, slow motion. Gila. Udah kayak apa aja. Terus jangan kudu klik-klik tai anjing, game gede bangsat. Nah, oke, thank you. Oh, okay, nice.
Is she here yet?
Let's get here!
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Saha. Jika aku menyatu dengan matanya. France.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
Matian, kawan.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Oke, merinding. Itu, gue liat klipnya sih, TikTok, trending juga. Gue dengerin lagunya itu juga sama, ya lumayan lah lagunya. Dan gue pas di TikTok gila banget orang-orang ngebandingin sama penyanyi yang siapa itu gue
Is it
lupa.
just me? Who was that lady Furina on the stage just now?
Dibandingin
She
anjing,
hasn't been seen for a while now.
kayak goblok
She
banget
just
anjing.
appears out of nowhere? Gotta say though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Oke.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a...
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. Hopefully, it's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule. Still, I have to admit it felt good to be...
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Oh, so it was Furina after all.
She's back!
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was a group decision.
Ini siapa dah?
We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving.
Yes, I know the rule, but...
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them for me.
This is a great chat and all, but can we
willingly.
talk about that crazy... Hannah flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to...
That... I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it? I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
Oh, let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want... If nothing else, we can safely say that we...
Oke. Gue lupa nih, Archon itu ingat gue apa gitu? Coba. Mana ya? Nah, coba yang Sarisa dulu. Nah ini nih material. Kalau ini apa ini? Tubuh ini adalah yang paling mulia dan agung dari semua dunia ini. Ia harus memegang kendali di dunia ini. Dunia juga harus sebuah mimpi kalau yang tidak pernah berubah. Oke, ini apa nih? Material ideologiku tidak bernoda. Aku harus membenarkanmu, orang-orang di sini tidak berdosa di mata para dewa. Hanya hukum dan orang mereka. Oke. Ini kenapa gue kayak pakai ray tracing dah? Fuck. Let's go. Mana tuh cewek? Kalau tiba-tiba udah sembuh, ini berarti si bangsat nih cuman gemeter aja nih. Kebanyakan overthinking nih. Kalau tiba-tiba sembuh nih cewek nih.
Take it easy.
Bertarung.
You're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs a few more days of rest.
How did the performance go?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic!
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told, even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed.
Well, one way or I've had bad luck ever since.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we?
Oh, don't you start.
Aw, you two clearly...
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine like wildfire. You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the little Oceanid to the big...
No.
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But maybe our paths will cross again one day.
Hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
Drama musical.
You should do it.
Oh, yeah.
It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too, but I don't know if my health will allow me to.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. I guess I'll hold off until you've properly recovered as well. What about you, Miss Furina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that this hope maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, maybe the show will go on for me, yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress but from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people. I want to watch them blossom and wither, see them refined on the page, retold on the stage, and remembered. I'm sure this is what captivated director O'Reilly as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor it.
Poka-poka. Poka-polarol.
It's ironic to think that in my whole time as a... And now that the gods have given me their blessing,
there's no god no more in his fucking TV.
My fate in my own hand is...
What the hell, dude? Huh? Gue bunuh juga loh.
I'm just finishing packing up. As soon as I'm done, I've got an interview with the thanks to all your help, but most of all, I want to thank you for giving me the chance to finally say farewell to O'Reilly.
Ini siapa nih? Berlalu ke lain.
I mean, of course I have.
There'll be plenty of opportunities in the future for us to tell the stories that we...
Lauk.
I mean, of course.
There'll be
Okay,
plenty...
just go like... He's got it. Goodbye.
Now that the buzz is worn off, I feel ready to pat...
Dude.
Thank you so much. It might turn out to be too...
It's ironic and is...
Okay. Blub. I think it's done.